Hello class, today we're going to talk about evaluating expressions. So in order to evaluate expressions, I need you to think about order of operations. So what do you remember about order of operations? That's right, order of operations is PEMDAS. Okay, how do we remember it? A lot of times people use all kinds of little mnemonic devices to help us. The one that is the most common for order of operations is please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Where the P stands for parentheses, the E stands for exponents, the MD stands for multiply and divide, and the AS stands for add, subtract. So let's see if we can actually do an order of operations problem. So here's the problem that we have. 4 squared plus 14 divided by, parenthesis, 5 minus 3, close parenthesis, times negative 3. So pause the video real quick and answer this question. Okay, let's see how you did. First thing I want you to do is we need to look at parentheses. So when we look at this problem, we're basically looking at it 4 times. We look at it in stages. So 4 squared plus 14 divided by, now I'm ready to answer the parenthesis part. So 5 take away 3 gives me 2 times negative 3. Now I'm ready for exponents. That's 4 squared. Now we know that 4 squared does not mean 4 times 2. It means 4 2 times. So 4 times 4 gives you 16 plus 14 divided by 2 times negative 3. Now the MD says that we're going to look at multiply divide, but we look at it in one pass and we do whichever one comes first. Okay, so that means I'm looking at this part right here to answer it. So 16 plus, now we do 14 divided by 2, which gives us 7, and we immediately multiply it by negative 3, which gives us negative 21. So now, the last line is add, subtract, and we should end up with an answer when we get to the add, subtract line. So 16 plus 21 gives us negative 5. Now, the reason why we're looking at order of operations today is because we're going to be evaluating expressions. And in order to evaluate expressions, what that means is, to evaluate a variable expression, you first replace each variable with a number, which is a given number, and then you use the order of operations to simplify the problem. So that's the reason why we were reviewing order of operations. So let's take a look at this expression down below. It says evaluate 4y minus 15, 4y is equal to 9. So yesterday we talked about reading and writing expressions. And this 4y minus 15, what we have to do is read it with operations in mind. So what this really means is 4 times y, or whatever the value of y is, minus 15. So if you can read it, you can evaluate it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this 9 and we're going to plug it in for the y that is in our expression. So we would write it as 4 times 9 minus 15. And now we use order of operations to simplify the rest of it. So 4 times 9 gives us 36. And then I need to subtract 15 from that. So 6 take away 5 gives us 1. 3 take away 1 gives us 2. We end up with an answer of 21. So when I evaluate 4 times y minus 15 for y is equal to 9, I end up with 21 is my answer. And that's all we're doing today, is evaluating expressions. So let's see if we can do another couple problems. Okay, so A says evaluate 63 minus 5x for x is equal to 7. So the first thing I want you to do is say what this means in your head. 63 minus 5 times the value of x. Okay, so we've got the problem written, so we're going to write 63 minus 5, and we plug in our 7 for our x. And now we evaluate using order of operations. So we know we have to do this multiply first. So 63 minus, and 5 times 7 is 35. And then 63 minus 35 should give you 28. Okay. Now, B, this one's a little bit tougher. So this one says 4 parenthesis, t plus 3 parenthesis plus 1. So if we were to say this, we're going to say it according to how we're going to work it. Okay, so we always start with our parentheses first. So we would say this as t plus 3, get an answer, times that by 4, and then add 1. So pause the video and you work this one on your own. Okay, let's see how you did. So we'll take the 4, write the parenthesis. We're going to plug the 8 into where that t is at, and then plus 3, and then plus 1. And now we evaluate it using order of operations. So the first thing I do is the parenthesis. So 4 times 11, because 8 plus 3 is 11, then plus 1. So now we do our multiply. 4 times 1 or 11 is 44, and then plus 1, and then 44 plus 1 gives you 45. It's as simple as that. So let's see if we can bump it up a notch. What if I were to give you one like this? 3ab plus c over 2. For a is equal to 2, b is equal to 5, c is equal to 10. Well, this time we have multiple variables in the problem, and that's perfectly fine. Okay, again, if you read it correctly with operations in mind, you should be able to solve it. So what does this say? 3 times the value of a times the value of b plus c divided by 2. Simple as that. So we plug in our values. 3 times 2 times 5, because our a is 2 and our b is 5, plus c is 10, so 10 divided by 2. Now we fall back on our order of operations to finish the problem out. So 3 times 2 is 6, times 5 is 30. 10 divided by 2 is 5, and now we add those together, and we end up with 35. So to evaluate expressions, all you have to remember is to replace each variable with its given number, because it will be given to you when we're evaluating expressions. And then just use the order of operations to finish out the problem and simplify. So until next time,